Hey, what's going on, everyone? It's Chris, and welcome back to ManicManiac Predicts, the 2015 NFL season. Alright, we are entering Week 7. We are almost at the halfway mark already with the season. How sad is that? We're almost at the halfway mark. We're about a few weeks away from that. In fact, starting next week, everyone will be playing their 8th game. Or no, I should say only like a portion of the league will be playing their 8th game. That is insane that we're already so close to the midpoint. But yes, here we are, Week 7. And I'm loving this season, and this is the first time I'm really like hardcore following the NFL ever, and I'm not regretting it. It's so much fun. I'm loving every moment, and I can't wait to see what's gonna happen going forward. But anyways, let's move on to what I did last week. Let's see how good I did with predicting this time. Falcons win. Yeah, I'm going to take the Jets here. I have to give this one to the Cardinals. I'm going to take the Vikings, but I have to give this to the Bengals. I'm going to give this one to the Lions. I'm definitely going with the Broncos here. I'm going to give it to the Jaguars this time. Titans, I'll take that. Seahawks are going to win. I'm definitely going to pick the Packers here. I'm going to see the 49ers, believe it or not. The Patriots are going to win. I'm going to pick the Eagles. 56-35 is my current record. I believe last week it was 9-5. So 9 correct, 5 wrong. From the insane game between the Falcons and the Saints. I don't even know how the Saints won that. It's just amazing to me because everyone was just like, yeah, this is just going to be a rollover game for the Falcons, and then the Saints came out of nowhere and played like this incredible defense. It was insane how all of a sudden they actually were playing really well against a potential contender. So it was cool. Steelers shocking the Cardinals was surprising. Big time. The Jaguars, or the Texans beating the Jaguars wasn't too surprising, but I did want to give the love to the Jaguars. Same with the Titans. I wasn't too surprised about the Dolphins winning it, but again, that was with the new coach. And then look at the Panthers, man. Even through everyone being like, yeah, no, their streak is going to end against the Seahawks. Yeah, no way. They come out swinging, and I gotta admit, you know, I was considering picking the Panthers because of their defense and how well they could play against the Seahawks, but I felt like the Seahawks still had it in them. I thought the Seahawks could have been like, all right, let's get our shit together, guys. No, it has yet to happen, and it's really insane how it keeps on happening to them. But everything else has worked out just fine. And I finally got an Eagles game right. Yes, unfortunately it was a win against my Giants, which sucks. I thought it was going to be a closer matchup than it was, but the Eagles just kicked ass. I gotta give it to them. Just kicked ass. Alright, anyways, let's go on to the segment before we get to the predicting, which is... Oh, not that one. Take a break, even if you haven't earned it. And I gotta say, the Bengals earned it, the Packers earned it, and the Broncos earned it. All going into this bye week, undefeated. That's pretty good. The Bears, maybe they haven't earned it, but they need it. That's for sure. You know, the Bears. I mean, let's face it though, the Bears they've come out of the past few weeks, and with Jay Cutler, surprisingly, he's actually been playing pretty well. It's surprising to me. The Bears are not having too horrible of a season. They still lost to the Lions last week, so I mean, I don't know. You know, I'm gonna give the Bears some credit. You know, that they have been standing their ground and getting through games. I don't know how much that's gonna do for them. You know, like how well it's gonna go forward. But hey, they got by, and maybe they can rebound through this. I'm not gonna really say much about the 5 teams. I mean, or the other 3 teams rather, that are undefeated going into the bye. You know, they all are pretty much similar, except for I think the Broncos, who are just struggling so much on offense. Peyton Manning has gone from one of the best to one of the worst in the league. It's insane. But you can still see Peyton Manning, like his skill level still there, but he's hesitant and he's not making good decisions, and it's weird. And it's so odd with this season how in Super Bowl 48 they kind of talked about it, I think, on NFL Network, Super Bowl 48 was a battle between the Denver's number one offense in the league and Seattle's number one defense in the league. And now the offense for the Denver and the defense for the Seattle is like, it's like, nothing's good for them on those sides. It's just, it would definitely be, it's just a weird game. It's just weird how all of a sudden 2 years later these are completely opposite teams. The Broncos defense was not really that great when they went to Super Bowl 48, and now look at it. If they had this defense for that game, they probably would have won that. It's insane how everything just changes. The Bengals are rocking and Andy Dalton's kicking ass, and of course Aaron Rodgers is kicking ass. Even though he's struggled in the last few games, he's been doing okay. He's been pulling through, and he still has 2 interceptions on the season, and he's handling himself. He's doing good. I will say this: it's gonna be a very good game, Week 8 Sunday Night Football, when the Denver Broncos, where the Packers are facing the Denver Broncos, and the Packers and the Broncos. I mean, that's really an awesome battle. It's like this awesome offense against this awesome defense. It gets an offense. It gets a pretty decent defense. That's why I'm leaning towards picking the Packers. But I'm not gonna make my final decision until the Week 8 comes around. But that's who I'm leaning towards. But that's gonna be a good battle, no matter what. That's gonna be a fun battle to watch. It's all gonna happen at Mile High Stadium or Field. I forget what it's called. It's Mile High something. I don't care. Good for this. Good for the undefeateds. They get to face each other in Sunday Night Football. That's gonna be fun. Who's gonna get the first loss of the season? Who knows? All right. Anyways, let's move on to Thursday Night Football. Seahawks against the 49ers. Both of these teams, the 49ers. Some people are like, "Oh my God, I can't believe the 49ers are 2-4 going into this game," and I'm sitting here like, I'm not surprised. I'm surprised. I was still surprised when they won in Week 1 against the Vikings. I don't know how they did that, but they pulled it out. Really, just they kicked ass, and then since then they lost 4 in a row. And luckily they got a little bit of a spark when they faced the Ravens, even though that was the worst secondary in the league pretty much. And you look at the Seahawks. The Seahawks are the surprising one to me. Everyone was hyping how this team was now a juggernaut, and they're not looking like one at all. For this game, I am taking the Seahawks because I think the Seahawks can get a win against a struggling 49ers team. Again, 49ers, they won last week, but they lost. They won to a team that is just abysmal right now. And the Seahawks, they lost to 2 undefeated teams right now. They lost to the They lost to 3 undefeated teams, and then they lost to a great Rams defense. And I feel like this would be the shot. This would be the shot for the 49ers, or for the Seahawks, to finally just get another win and just stop with these constant losing streaks here and there. At least get that spark that they need to keep going forward and keep pushing. Maybe they can just win out from here. I doubt that's going to happen, but who knows. Anyways, the Seahawks for that. And now we got the International Series, game number 2 in London, and it's game 7 for the Bills and the Jaguars. They're both going to be heading into their bye next week. But so far, a so-so season for both. One team is 3-3, one team is 1-5. And when it comes to the Jaguars, they're 1-5. Blake Bortles is abysmal when it comes to interceptions, but he's actually been improving, and he's been doing pretty okay with himself. So there's a lot of hope for the Jaguars' future with Blake Bortles, but there needs to be a better team around him. As for the Bills, they keep on going with this back and forth system, and now Sammy Watkins is complaining, and Mario Williams is complaining, and Marcel Darius is complaining, and I don't even know what's happening right now, but Rex Ryan needs to get his team together, and he needs to organize this team and make sure that things get better, that they maybe even edit the system a little bit with how he does things, and maybe make Marcel Darius and Mario Williams rush the passer rather than take steps back, and have more targets for Sammy if possible, or if he even plays this week. But you need to listen to your players, and you really need to build on what your players want to see, but also what will work best for your team. You have to balance out the two. And I disagree with them coming out and just complaining about it, but I guess you kind of get where their frustration is because of this back and forth that they've been doing. They have these amazing games, and then they just have shitty games. It sucks. But I'm really hoping that the Bills can get their stuff together. I think they'll do it here in London. Once again, the away team will win. The Bills will take the International Series Game 2 on Yahoo. All right, Buccaneers at the Redskins. This is a tale of two mediocre teams. James Winston, he's been having an okay start, just throwing way too many interceptions. Coming off the bye, maybe they worked on it a little bit, and luckily they're facing Washington, who is struggling without D'Angelo Hall, but hopefully the pass rush doesn't get them. And then you look at the offense for the Redskins, and Kirk Cousins, he has not been playing too well. He has a shot against the Buccaneers, but can he actually do that though? I don't know. we have to see. I mean, right now, I've been picking the Buccaneers a lot because I have a lot of faith in the Buccaneers. So I'm going to give it to the Bucs again because I think there is hope. I think there's a little bit of hope in there that they can pull out something against the Redskins because of how much the Redskins have been struggling. But hey, if the Redskins win this game, that'll be really good for them. That's a good win for them at home. And it keeps them in the talks for the NFC East crown because that's a mess. So we'll see what happens. But I'm going to take the Buccaneers because I always have faith in the Bucs. And plus, I always like rooting for the underdog. This team was the number 1 overall pick last draft. Yeah, I gotta give them a little bit of, just try to shake them a little bit, give them some pride, even though they'll never see this video. All right, anyways, Falcons and Titans. Yeah, this is an obvious one. Titans are potentially going to be without their best player, who, in my opinion, is Marcus Mariota. He's been playing great at quarterback. Even in their losses, he's been handling himself pretty well, but he's been getting beat up, and I think that they're going to end up sitting him. Whether or not they do that, though, this Falcons team is going to want blood. They lost to the Saints. They don't want to lose to the Saints. They took that in, and the fact that they lost, it's so bad for them. But I think that the Falcons are going to take that anger and push it onto the Titans. The Falcons are going to win that. On to the Saints against the Colts, and it's a Super Bowl rematch. I think it's the only Super Bowl rematch this week, potentially. I don't really think that there's another Super Bowl rematch unless I'm mistaken. I could be wrong. I'm looking real quick. Yeah, I don't think there's another Super Bowl rematch. But anyways, we got the Saints and the Colts, and it's going to be without the quarterback in that Super Bowl. Instead of Peyton Manning, it is Andrew Luck, and it's going to be Andrew Luck versus Drew Brees. And the Saints are coming off a great win, and the Colts are coming off of just being embarrassed all week. My God, what was that punt? Fake punt, whatever. I don't even know what they were doing there, but sucks sucks for them. You look at what the Saints did last week, and it's great, and I think there was a lot of passion there. Steve Gleason was there, and that was just, it was just such a great night, and it was so awesome to see that the blocked punt that they have. Colts, really, you should just not try even to punt this game. you failed on a fake punt. I mean, I don't know what I want to see out of the real punt. I think that you just keep it away from whoever the guy that blocked it. Just keep it away from the Saints special teams, because they were out for blood. They want to live out Steve Gleason's legacy. But I'm gonna give this one to the Colts, though. I think the Saints, they surprised us, but I don't think that this is gonna be their turnaround or anything like that. I think that the Colts are gonna win. They'll get back into a winning record. They'll probably take the division again. We'll see what happens from there. Alright, on to one of two divisional rematches. Yes, we're already back to rematches. And what's odd is that this is a rematch of week 2. So this is like a 5 weeks apart since they last fought in Minnesota. Now they're in Detroit. It's the Vikings against the Lions. Last time, the Vikings took the win, and the Lions since then lost 3 in a row, and then finally won against the Bears. And the Lions actually looked decent through a lot of the game. That overtime was dreadful, awful. It was disgusting, but they got the win in overtime. They beat the Bears. Can they beat the Vikings? I don't know about that. The Vikings, they're pretty hot right now. They just won against the Chiefs, which is not really that great of an achievement, but I think that the Vikings are gonna build on that defense that they've had, because defensively they've been playing pretty okay. They're going to use Adrian Peterson as much as they can, even though I think he's injured, potentially. He was like limited today with like a finger or something. I don't fucking know. Whatever. They're going to use him as much as possible. And Teddy Bridgewater, he's going to keep on growing. He's not the quarterback we saw in the preseason, but he's getting the job done at least. I'm going to give it to the Vikings. If the Lions can win this matchup, I'll start giving a little bit more faith in the Lions. But right now, I'm going to give it to the Vikings and say that right now that win over the Bears isn't much to celebrate about. It's beating the Vikings that you got to do, Lions. Prove me wrong. Steelers at the Chiefs. Yeah, this is another one that is this is actually a very interesting, because you got two of their best offensive players off the field. Ben Roethlisberger is not playing still. Now we got Jarvis Landry. Not Jarvis Landry. Oh my God, he's a wide receiver of the Dolphins. Where did I get that name from? What the fuck is this guy's name? Landry Jones. That's why it was so. That's why I wanted to say Jarvis Landry. Landry Jones is a quarterback. Imagine just pull that guy from the Dolphins. Hey, can you just be our quarterback? We're just running out of options. Landry Jones is now the quarterback for the Steelers. He actually was not that bad last week. He beat the Cardinals. I mean, how did that happen? I don't even know how the Cardinals lost that. But Landry Jones, he took that backup job. He took the starting job from Mike Vick for a little bit, and he just soared. He did pretty well. It was pretty impressive. And then you look at the Chiefs, and they're without their best offensive player, and Jamal Charles. Jamal Charles is now gone, so the defenses should have a field day here. But I'm going to go with the Steelers, and that's just because of the fact that the Chiefs, they're not having a fun time. The Chiefs they're plummeting, and they're plummeting quick. Losing Jamal Charles was the worst, but their defense is not what they should be, and their offense is just so bad to watch. So Steelers are going to be winners on Sunday to go to 5-2. Browns, Rams. It's another one of actually, this is actually going to be a fun matchup to watch because you got the Rams defense against, wait for it, a hot Browns offense. How often can you say the Browns offense is actually hot right now? We kind of said it last year. Oh no, I think last year what was happening was that the Browns defense was stepping up. But this time it's the offense. Josh McCown is actually playing incredibly well. I finally admitted to my friend Matt, who's been trying to convince me that, that Josh McCown is this great quarterback, or he's been playing so well. I'm like, nah, he's just a backup or whatever. But he's actually, it's amazing what 1 year does, just how it just all changes. I think it was because of the team that he was playing on last year, which was the Bucs. And now moving over here to the Browns with a better offensive line, he's looking good. Still making some odd decisions, especially last week, and I think in overtime where he just did a horrible interception. He made such a bad decision there. But he's been playing well otherwise. Again, the Rams, their defense has been playing pretty good, so I think this is going to be a pretty interesting matchup. I don't think I predicted the Browns win yet, and that's where I'm going to keep going with. I'm going to give it to the Rams. If the Browns win, though, that's a big deal. They're getting better, but I think the Rams will stop them just for now. Nick Foles will do well enough to handle it, and they're going to be without Joe Hayden for another week probably. So who knows? Well, I think the Rams will probably do it. So that's that. Texans, Dolphins. Well, you saw how the Dolphins, they did pretty well against Dan Campbell. The defense was reinvigorated. Offense didn't look too bad either. They just whipped their dick all over the Titans. It was a pretty fun thing to watch. And Jarvis Landry had a good day, and Cameron Wake had a good day. It was a good day for the Dolphins, and now they're facing a tougher team in the Texans. Not incredibly tougher, but at least it's a team coming off of a nice win against the Jaguars. This was a hard one for me to decide, and for right now, I'm gonna cash in on Dan Campbell and the Dolphins. I'm gonna pick the Dolphins, and it's just because I feel like Brian Hoyer, he had such a good day this past week against the Jaguars. Against the Dolphins defense, I think he's going to struggle a little bit more. We'll see, though. Many things could happen. But I'm going to go with the Dolphins for now. Texans could win it. I'm taking the gold, blue, and orange, though. Alright, I'm so pumped for this matchup. I say every time I do the predictions, but my three favorite teams, because I'm a New Yorker. I love the Giants, love the Bills, and I love the Jets. I love both the Bills and the Jets, but whatever. And as a Jets fan, of course, I would love to see the Patriots I would love for the Jets to beat the Patriots, not in like a blowout fashion, but like a close, heated matchup. Probably winning by 3 points. Like, I feel like that would be fun to watch. But I think it's gonna be a close battle. I think it's gonna be very fun to watch. But let's face it, though, I'm not gonna pick against the Patriots until they actually do lose, and then I'll choose from there based off of their weaknesses. But right now, the only Patriots weakness I can really say right now is that offensive line. But even then, the offensive line is actually doing pretty okay. I think if the Jets defense really just plays their heart out, they use Chris Ivory, they can do really well, and they have a shot at beating the Patriots. But I'm going to go with the Patriots right now, just the better team. Overall, we'll see what happens. It will be something if the Jets can take them down. Just saying. Alright, Raiders, Chargers, another divisional matchup. I think this is the Chargers' first divisional matchup thus far this season. I don't think they faced either the Chiefs or the Broncos. Unless I'm wrong, I don't believe so. I think this is the first time they're having a divisional game. But anyways, it's the Raiders and the Chargers, and man, I mean, I feel like these teams are kind of similar. I mean, the Chargers are definitely playing better offensively, but the Raiders, they've actually had a few good games, I think. Derek Carr is really doing so well for Oakland. And their defense is doing pretty okay for Oakland as well. And Chargers defense been playing all right. They've been doing pretty good. I'm going to go with the Chargers, just because it's at home for them. At some point, you just gotta pick the home team. You can't really just choose between the two. And plus, Philip Rivers just coming off of a 500-yard game. Like, how many quarterbacks really have done that? I think only 12, they said, have done 500 or more. Like, that's insane. So good for Philip Rivers. I'm going to pick him just for that. And plus, this is home field advantage. San Diego will be rocking for this matchup. All right, on to the Cowboys at the Giants. So, I gotta admit, the Giants looked absolutely terrible. They looked awful. You know, the fact that they started out so strong, I don't know. It amazes me how they start 7-7. They look so they're like rushing through that defense, and then it just all falls apart. They didn't score a single point since that first drive. I mean, I'm sorry. I'm like pausing because I have to like collect how that even happened. Like it's just obviously the Giants defense couldn't stop shit. The Giants offense just fell apart. It was a mess for them, and this reminds me so much of last year. It's a copy. So just based off of that, I gotta pick the Cowboys. But before I even officially pick them, I gotta talk about the Cowboys. I got faith in Matt Cassell. I think he could actually be the winning quarterback that they need to get back to .500, whatever the hell it is, whatever to call it, an even record, whatever it is, whatever. That is going to be the key to keeping the Cowboys team alive while Dez Bryant, while Tony Romo is out. And he's going to be a good quarterback, and I hope that he's going to play well, and I think he's going to play well against a Giants secondary that's just falling apart. The Cowboys are going to take the win right here. It's going to sound like Michael Irvin there for all you Cowboys fans. Alright, got the Eagles against the Panthers here. And again, the Eagles played great. They played an amazing game of football. But I mean, I don't know. I look at the offense for the Eagles, and they seem like it seems like a cheap man's version of the Broncos. Their defense is playing awesome, but their offense is not really, except for like DeMarco Murray. DeMarco Murray, for all of a sudden, he's looking good, even though Ryan Matthews still fits the system better. And it's just he's just so I think that the offense needs to grow a little bit more, and I don't think they're going to be able to do it against the Panthers. The Panthers looking hot right now. Stop the Seahawks, and I think they're going to stop the Eagles. The Panthers are going to win, and Sunday Night Football goes 6-0 on the season. Ravens and Cardinals on Monday Night Football. The much better primetime game than both the Sunday night and Thursday night, in my opinion. I like Thursday night. Never mind. I just don't like Sunday night. I think that's just because of Carrie Underwood. But anyways, Ravens against the Cardinals. This is an obvious one to me. Ravens are just a mess right now. Amazing how this team I thought was going to be a Super Bowl contender, and they're just looking horrible. I've seen them pick them to win a Super Bowl. I've seen them to at least be the AFC champion. It's amazing how this team went from being a potential contender to just 1-5. That's all I got to say. They're 1-5. They look bad. The Cardinals, even though they lost to the Steelers, they're still a good team. They can grow from this, and I think that they can still be the hot offense and the hot defense that they are. Cardinals win in primetime. And that is the ending of our video today. Apologize for all the pausing and stuff. I'm being distracted, but I'm also thinking about what I want to say next. That's my picks, and we'll see what happens. I think there's a lot of potential for me to be wrong this week. And I mean, I guess we'll have to see what happens, and I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to a lot of the battles, the London battle, the divisional battle. The divisional battles this week are going to be good because you got the rematches with the Cowboys and Giants and the rematch between the Raiders and Chargers. And then, of course, you got the Patriots and Jets, which is going to be number one offense because number one defense. Not exactly number one, but they're pretty close up there. It's going to be fun. It's going to be great. But thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye.